So welcome to What's Money Got to Do with It, a webinar that I've chosen to do. Yes, on one hand, to talk about the subject of money, and on the other hand, to not talk about the subject of money, like what's money got to do with it, right? And actually, just before we started recording, Raymond and I were talking about making choices. Like he was talking about what can I choose now? What can I choose now? And then we were talking about what if you could ask, what if I not yet chosen? That if I would be willing to choose it, it would change all realities. Or what if I not yet chosen? That if I would be willing to choose it, it would shift and change and expand and make things greater. And it's about that willingness to change. It's about that knowingness and coming to the realization that you're like, hey, what, I haven't chosen it. And I think I'm willing, but now I realize that I'm actually not willing. And coming to the realization that you are actually not willing to choose something or have something, how are you going to choose it or have it if you're not willing to choose or have it or receive it? And it's that moment when you realize, oh, I'm actually not willing. Interesting. Well, what would it take to be willing? Because we sort of wonder why things don't show up. And it's because we're not willing and we're unaware of our unwillingness. So everything that is and everything that brings up and everything that keeps you in the unwillingness, will you please destroy and uncreate all of that? Right, wrong, good, bad, POD, POC, Ishura's boys, poets, and beyond. So for those that don't know it, this is the Access Consciousness Clearing Statement, which is a way to call the energy to the surface and to remove the energy that blocks us from almost anything. And you can get more information on theclearingstatement.com. So yeah, what's money got to do with it? When we take the subject of money and we look at what money really is, and money is an invention of this reality. Money is a man-made invention. And if we look at the planet, if we look at God's creation, and we are here, anything that is created by humans cannot be above us, cannot be bigger than us. And many, many times we pretend like money is bigger than us, that money is stronger than we are, that somehow we make it so significant. We have to know that everything that is made by man cannot be bigger, because we're all sort of created here on earth. We're a gift of God, right? Our body is the gift of earth. And so anything that's created by men cannot be bigger than us. So everything that is, will you destroy and uncreate it, right, wrong, good, bad, POC, Ishura's boys, poets, and beyonds. And another thing that I would like to touch on is the way that money is projected in this reality, and the way that money is in the monetary system and all the different systems, like the banking systems, things online, insurances, bonds, cash, credit cards, whatever that is, it's all a part of a system. And we don't have a clue how layered that is. And we sometimes don't even acknowledge that it's a form of abuse. Like when somebody was abused as a child, whether it's physical abuse or sexual abuse, whatever that is, we call it abuse, we recognize it as abuse, we know we have to do something about it, sort of, to just call it, like in this reality, it's something that we consider to be not okay, it's trauma, we need to get rid of it. But then we take the subject of money and we don't even see it as abuse. We don't even see it as being abused. So that also means that we are probably looking at it from a perspective which is either not true or maybe part of the truth, right? There's some truth with a lie attached, or it's a complete lie. Like there are so many lies of money, there are so many layers of money, there are so many points of views about money. But when we're not even willing to recognize that there is abuse with money and that we have taken the abuse of money, like where do we start? So everywhere where you are unwilling to see the abuse of money and with money, and your willingness to be abused by the money systems, not by money, because money is just energy, but by the money systems, will you revoke, recant, rescind, reclaim, renounce, denounce, destroy, and create all of that? Right, wrong, good, bad, pop, connections, voice, purpose, and beyonds. And let's go a little bit deeper into this abuse section. I don't know why, but it's like, let's go a little bit deeper with that. And I know I've had a conversation with somebody on this call a while ago where we were looking at how hard it can be for people to go beyond the judgment of what we think abuse is, right? We consider it something to be wrong. And that's sometimes how we actually don't even want to take the responsibility of the choice that we make. Like there's a choice that we have made this lifetime or in a previous lifetime where we decided we're going to take on this life where we have abuse. And then we jump into this world and we have this experience where we're being abused in some form. So what have you chosen that would allow you to be abused with money? And where are you unwilling to take on that responsibility or to take that responsibility of the choice that you made? How much of it is your choice? And how much abuse are you still willing to take? Everything that brings up, will you destroy, now create that? Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, Nitures, boys, poets, and beyonds. Now look at the layers. And when I ask you for a number of layers, and you don't have to say it out loud, but just when I ask you, how many layers of abuse do you have with money? What comes up? Whatever amount that is. Will you revoke, recant, rescind, reclaim, renounce, denounce, destroy, and uncreate all of that times a gazillion, right, wrong, good, bad, POC, Nitures, boys, poets, and beyonds? What would it take for you to be money? What if money is just energy? Like I said, money is energy. You are energy. You are money. Money is you. Energy is money. Money is energy. You are energy. You are money. And if that creates a heaviness in your body, would you be willing to return all of that to sender and allow the lies of money that you bought to dissipate and release? And what would it take for you to be willing to be kind to money? And if you would be willing to be kind to money, and money is energy, and you are energy, and you are money, and money is you, then what would it take to be willing to be kind to you? And what does it look like to show actual kindness to you that will allow you to be kind to money? Because money is always kind to you. So there was another thing that was was showing up for me, and I was looking at all the, the different layers of money that I went through, and also destroying and creating all of my points of views about money and all of the safety points that I, sort of in the past was reaching for, right? I was looking for safety because I took those points of view from my mother. My mother had this abusive childhood where she was like, if I would only have money, I could escape this house and I would be safe. So money to her equals safety, which is not true because money is not safety, right? And so I took on that point of view of my mother where I felt that money would mean safety, which did not make sense because it was not my reality. And so I went through all these layers of money and the meaning of money and, how much I love money or hate money or all these things that are going on. And then another thing that I realized was I was actually stopping the flow of money because I wanted to control money. I wanted to like literally control what was coming in, and that anything that was coming in, I could track it, I could trace it, I could put it in the right place, make sure that I put enough money aside so that I can pay my taxes at the end of the year, all these stuff, right? And I was like, I want to make sure that I'm in control because I want to do it the right way. I don't want to be overwhelmed with money flowing in and then maybe at the end of the year not, having enough money set aside to pay my taxes. And that was funny because the whole control bit was coming up. I was like, oh wow, I'm so much trying to be in control of money and the outcome and where it's going. What if I would allow chaos to just show up? Just allow chaos to show up. And who cares where the money comes from? Who cares if I transfer it in time from like PayPal or Stripe or whatever the money is coming from my my bank account, and then making sure that I get the right percentages to a savings account to be able to like have fun with my taxes. I was so controlling that somehow I was just blocking the flow because money doesn't want to be controlled that way. So everything that brings up and everything that is in your life, will you destroy and uncreate all of that? Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, POC, Nations, boys, poets, and beyonds. Yeah, it's so funny how money shows up in those ways and allows us to sort of act crazy. So what's money got to do with everything? What's money got to do with it? So you have your life, you have your business. Now, you chose to be here on this planet, in this body. If you didn't have a body, would you need clothes? No. If you didn't have a body, would you really need a roof over your head? No. If you didn't have a body, would you need an airplane to fly from one continent to another? Or would you just be infinite? So for us to have a life on Earth, and because we're on Earth, and yes, the way that the things play here, will require money to buy food, or because that's just the way the society is right now. There's this monetary system, abuse or not, whatever it is, there's money going on, right? And money's required for you to live somewhere, to buy clothes, all these stuff, to just get things going. But it's not the source of things. It's an effect. It's a sort of a result of a choice you've made. It's this, I always say that if you want to swim, you have to get in the water. I mean, you don't have to get in the water if you don't want to, but if you want to swim, you're going to have to go, right? So there is no have to in getting into the water, generally speaking. But if you decided you want to go for a swim, you'll have to go into the water. And the same is like, we decided to take on this life, to take on this body, that's where we're gonna have to play along with the game of this reality. And in this game, there is money. So what will it take for you to just play the game of money instead of having the need for money or being the effect of the abuse with money in this reality? Like, what would it take for you to be in this reality with money without being the effect and without being abused by the systems? Are you still willing to take on the abuse? Yes or no? Or do you have another choice? What else is possible you haven't considered? And how much more can you increase in frequency and can you expand in your power, potency, your greatness to not longer be the effect of the abuse that the systems have with money? And just think of any other form of abuse that you've overcome. I know there are people on this call, it could be physical abuse, it could be emotional abuse, it could be sexual abuse, it could be what kind of, there are all kinds of abuse that you go through. And you found ways to overcome it. You found ways to release your trauma. And you did it by making a choice. You did it by growing out of it. And you did it by raising your frequency and not allowing yourself to be a victim anymore. You've chosen not to be the victim. So are you willing to choose to not be the victim anymore of the abuse with money? And again, it's not the energy of money that is abusing you, because money is just energy, right? Money is just money. It's not doing anything. And that's also very interesting. It's an interesting subject that I've been looking at. It's like, sometimes we think, when people talk about the law of attraction, or when people talk about, there's this choice with money, or you attract money in a certain way, or whatever it is. And it's like, well, money actually doesn't really have a point of view. It'll show up anywhere. Just look out in the world. There are people that are unconscious that have money. There are people that have made contracts with the devil or are playing with the devil that have money. There are people that are really conscious and kind and good that have money, right? So money doesn't have a point of view of where it shows up. It just shows up. And from that perspective, the way they see it, when people have a lower level of consciousness or they have this lower frequency, they expand their consciousness, they raise in frequency to be able to get more awareness, to get more to the truth, and to not be in distracting emotions or whatever is going on in their lives. But if even unconscious people can just have money, that means that money is in all frequencies. So what does that mean to you, and what comes up for you? Like, what would you have to be? And how much would you have to expand for you to be the greatest that you can be? And what are you refusing to be? Have we been looking at consciousness and been raising our frequency and wanting to grow in consciousness to sort of not recognize that at some parts we are still unconscious? Yes, we're growing in consciousness, but which parts are we still unconscious? And not willing to see that yet, or not willing to accept it. What if this is just the tip of the iceberg? How much more can you expand? And now allow yourself to expand. So take that iceberg. And what if this is just the tip of the iceberg? And allow that energy to grow, even if you don't even know what that looks like, even if you don't even know what that means. Where will you end up? Who will you run into? Even if it means suffering. What are you not willing to choose? What are you refusing to experience in life? Because you don't like what it feels like. And all the judgment that is in that, will you now please revoke, recant, rescind, reclaim, renounce, denounce, destroy, and uncreate all of that? Right, wrong, good, bad, apocalypse, voice, pivots, and beyonds. There's more joy in that. Wow. How does it get better than this? Woo! Yes, yes. Now we're getting somewhere. Joy. Now we're getting to that point. That's it. That's it. All the heaviness and all the lies and all the abuse and everything that is. Let's destroy and uncreate all of that. And how much more joy can you invite? Because even if we're looking at that tip of the iceberg and the rest of it and how much more you can expand, with everything that you might fear to encounter, how much joy could be in it and beyond it that you are not receiving because you have fear of what is below that surface that is bigger than the tip of the iceberg. What if there is more joy than you can imagine? Now, truth, are you willing to receive all that joy and to have all that joy and to invite it into your space? Yes or no? If it's yes, how does it get any better than that? If it's no, what would it take for you to be willing? Always, always, always ask that question. Am I willing? And be honest. Because don't give the preferred outcome. Don't give the preferred answer. Don't think, well, I need to say yes. No, be fucking honest if you have to say no. It's a no. I'm not willing. So what would it take to be willing? Universe, show me. Apparently, I'm not willing. Not my best choice, but I'm not willing. All right. What else is possible here? What would it take to be willing? And just show me. How much more fun can I have? How much more joy can I invite in my life? And just go. So I would love to take some questions if you guys have questions. I could go on if something comes up, but maybe somebody has a question and we can talk about that. And if not, I'll just keep talking and then just interrupt until you have something. All right, so what's money got to do with it? And I kind of love that phrase because, do you know that song by Tina Turner, What's Love Got to Do with It? And it's like, well, indeed, what's love got to do with it? And there are all these layers of what is love? What is unconditional love? And are you willing to actually love yourself unconditionally? And what does unconditional love really mean? And I don't know, maybe some of you have seen it, but I created this reel where I say, loving yourself unconditionally also means not allowing shit in your world. Like there are people from outside that sort of play shit in your world, and you take it because you don't want to hurt their feelings. You take it because you feel like you have to. It's family, or it's, you know, it's something else, but you just take their shit and you deal with it. And you deal with it because you can, because you're powerful, because, you know, you can do it. Let's go. But is that really true kindness to you? Is that unconditional love for you? And how much more can you love yourself and not allow other people or things to put shit in your world? And this connects to this, what is happening with the abuse of money, abuse with money, and the abuse by the monetary systems made by men. And are you still willing to allow these monetary systems made by men to put shit in your world? The worry about, do I have enough? The worry about, when will I get it? The worry about, you know, when can I finally pay off my debt? Or do I really have to think about, you know, can I pay my bills? Or I want to go grocery shopping, or, you know, do I have enough money in my bank account? Like, really? How much more of that are you willing to take? Because other people have decided that there needs to be a system of money. Really? Somebody came up with some good idea and it, you know, went all over the place in the whole world. And we need to deal with that crap? No. No. So let that be your first choice now, to not take the shit anymore. Whatever anybody else is choosing, whatever somebody else is creating or has created, or, you know, whenever it happened, even if it happened lifetimes ago, centuries ago, whenever it happened, no, your shit, your bullshit, your stuff, your bad idea, everything that is, I'm just going to return it to sender, and I'm not having it. Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, nitrous, boys, poets, and beyonds. And then I hear you thinking like, yeah, but I still have to pay my bills, right? We still have mortgage, rent, whatever. It's still part of this. But yeah, what if it doesn't matter? What if God will provide? If anything made by men is not above you, truth, will you be provided if you don't make this bigger than you? And it's so funny, something else came into my mind and I was like, oh, I need to address that, and now it slipped away. I don't know what that is. Let's ask it to come back if it's relevant. So yeah, I guess it's not required at this moment. So going back to what's money got to do with it? If money wasn't the issue, what would you choose? Oh, I got it. It flew back in. I'm going to talk about it. It flew back in. So, oh my gosh, this is crazy. It flew back out. I don't know what this is. This is funny. This is really funny. So I'm gonna just keep talking and see if it flows back in. So if money wasn't the issue, what would you choose? Do you have a question, Jessica? Yeah.
What came in my spirit when you were doing that was, what about the places where we have lost money retrieving it back to us, like anything that, if it's all energy waste, because a lot of people have given lump sums and never seen the return for it, things like that. That's what came in my spirit. I don't know if that's what was circling around your coming in and out, but that's what was poking in on me. So I wondered if you were going to address that at all. So.
Oh, well, no, but it's a good question. Yes, when, especially when things are like flowing away from us, or somebody from a previous lifetime, or even maybe this lifetime, or somebody passed away and they still owed you money. Like, what will it take for that money to flow back to you? Is again, like if it's just energy, then it can really flow back to you. But then the question would be, first of all, are you asking for it? And second of all, are you willing to receive it? Because, and then again, I could give something from my perspective. Like I borrowed some money to one of my family members, and I remember just saying, I don't have to have it back. Like I know, you're having a hard time. You don't have to pay it back if it's like, it's going to be difficult for you, right? I mean, that's me being done. That's me refusing that money because I am saying no to it because I feel bad for him. And I actually don't want him to feel like he has to pay the money if he doesn't really have it, or I don't want to make it hard on him because I love him. And then now he passed away, and it's like he actually still owes me that money, and I'm like, well, I know he's not gonna be in this body paying me back, but I do perceive this willingness of him to compensate me for that. And it's just money, and he doesn't have to have a body in order to make sure that the money flows back to me. But thank you for that question, Jessica, because I have to be willing to receive it. Like if I say, well, you know what, it's okay, it's just money, you don't have to pay it back, like it's done, it's in the past, I don't miss it anymore. But it's like, no, why wouldn't I be willing to receive that? And it's not coming from him in a body anymore. But what if he can find ways to pay me back? And I would allow him to pay me back. But I would have to get out of, well, I guess feeling sorry for him. Yeah, who am I to feel sorry for him, to be the superior bitch and like, no, you didn't have to pay me, it's gonna be hard, I don't wanna, like, okay, sure, you wanna give me back the money, give me back the money. I'm willing to receive it, and I'm open, because he'll find ways to get the energy flowing to me. And I don't know how, and I don't have to know. It's like, I don't know how, I know it will be. And I will just actualize, the money. That is me. Or maybe it belongs to me. I don't know if we can call it that way. But yeah, good question, Jessica. Does that answer it in any way? Is that okay? Cool. Lisa, I see you have your hand up. Go ahead.
And what about when we have made a poor choice with the money in giving or whatever? Is there like the consequences of being, making unwise decisions with that energy?
And what do you consider to be a poor choice?
Maybe being, I don't want to say tricked, but deceived kind of on the intentions of what it was for. Like you gave it with the right heart and the right intention, but the person was deceptive and you didn't realize it or whatever, and maybe you should have been more wise in that situation or circumstance.
Yeah. Well, there are two ways that I would go about this. And the first one would be to ask the question, what's right about this I'm not getting? I spend money here. to me, it looks like something that didn't give me anything, or, somebody deceived me. What's right about this I'm not getting? Like, oh, and now again, I know what I was talking about. It's like, and I'm gonna talk about it right now. It's like putting the energy in. Like, that's what I wanted to talk about before, and it really, goes into this piece exactly. It's like when you say, I don't have the money, or I don't want to pay the money, or I don't want to put the money in, you're actually saying, I don't have the energy, or I don't want to put in the energy. When money is energy and energy is money. So what's right about this I'm not getting, I put in some energy. What's the gift in it? Like, and when you put money in, do you actually need something in return right away? Because that's a transactional reality. And that actually brings me to the next part, the way that I wanted to reply to your question, Lisa. It's like, yes, on one hand, what's right about something that you thought might be an investment, but didn't seem to be a good investment. The other way that I look at, where do I put my time and energy? And if I spend my time on energy on people that are either not willing to receive it, or they are just taking it, so they are just taking my energy or my money or whatever that is, and then that's it. And they don't do anything else to generate. They don't do anything else to gift and bring that gift along. Because when I do something for somebody else, it's like we talked about this before, you give somebody a gift, you don't expect somebody to give you a gift in return. You don't expect anybody to pay for you. You just give them a gift because you want to give them something beautiful. But then you probably see the gratitude, or you see somebody using the gift that you gave them, and it's going to create something more. And that's where the energy starts to flow, and that's where the energy will come back to you. But what happens is when we put our energy, or when we gift something to somebody and it stops, we don't give the energy a chance to flow back to us. And that's where we stop the flow. And the way that I perceived it a long time ago was like, I'm actually putting my energy into a black hole and it's not coming back. And then it's my choice. Where do I put my energy? Do I really spend energy on these people who are just taking and not generating, and just, leaving it there and just taking from me? Or do I want to spend my time and energy or money on people that take it, that are grateful, that are going to generate, that are going to expand, that are going to give to other people, that are going to, create more out of it? And then the energy can flow, and from some other end, it will flow back to me. And that part really goes back to, like, what is our choice? What are we choosing to do with our energy? And then we get to the level of, there is no right or wrong. There is no, like, if you invested in something and it seems like you didn't take anything out of it immediately, but what else did it give you that is creating something else? Yeah, go ahead, Lisa.
When you say that, I think about it and I'm like, what was good about that situation? Well, what was good about that situation was the lesson I learned about that energy flow. And now where I'm giving is to where I know once the person receives it, what they get out of it is going to go to so many more people. And in that way, I'm being wiser with the investment of the money, even if it's not meant to directly come back to me. I know that it's going for the purpose that my heart wants for the earth,
Right, exactly.
Yeah, it's good.
But you will want it to come back to you, because if you don't, you're already resisting it
Yeah,
coming
no,
back
I
to you
want
by
it to come
saying
back to
that.
me, but not from
So
them.
like,
Like, it
yeah,
doesn't have to come back
oh,
from
not
them.
from that. Like, you think,
Yeah.
yeah, it goes into the circle and that circle returns and produces more. That's what I kept seeing. And it's like,
Yep.
Ruby taught me that. Ruby, it's been so life-changing for me. It's been so massive for me to not give my energy to a black hole anymore. I mean,
Yeah.
literally, it has changed everything for me.
Right. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I know. For me too. It's like when I realized I was putting energy into a black hole, I was like, What other choices do I have? Where else can I put my energy? Because it's not even their intention to be bad, or it's like first of all, they're not receiving. And second of all, it's like, it's their need to sort of take things, and some people are just not generating, right? Some people are doing it for the take, and they're not generating, they're not creating, and it just stops there. Yeah, and I mean, it's maybe,
Or they're creating bad things with it, which you don't want your energy to be put into.
yeah, that could happen as well. That could happen as well. And it's like, well, their choice, what they're doing there is what they're doing. But it doesn't mean we have to engage. Yeah, but I have noticed that it stops all the energy flow, so it does stop the money flow. And looking at that part, especially also for you guys, if you look at your business and you have certain fee, right? Or there's some compensation that you expect. People would say, oh, well, that's too expensive, or I don't have the money. Yeah, it could be that they have other choices to make. But I would also look at it from the energy, like, if they say, I don't have the money, they say, I don't have the energy. I don't want to put the money in, is I don't want to put the energy in. And if you want to engage with somebody, or somebody becomes your client, or you're going to co-create with somebody, and somebody says, yeah, I'm going to co-create with you, but I'm not going to put my energy in. No. You have to put your energy in, but I'm not going to do that. Yeah, I know it's going to take some time, but I'm not going to put my energy in. No. I mean, would you really work with somebody who says, you're going to do all the work and I'm just going to watch? And that's why it's not about the money. What's money got to do with it? It's got to do with the energy and their willingness to put in their energy. And their energy can be like actual energy, can be time, can be money, can be resources, whatever that is, right? You're laughing so hard, Jessica. Share. What's going on?
I was
Lisa and I are
mouthing,
having
what's
mental-
money got to do,
Yeah.
got to do with
Got to
it?
do with it. Yeah. And I picked up on it and I was like,
Yeah.
well, no, it changed my business with you giving me that advice. It was such profound, because I was giving out my services and for free. It was donation based, but it was bringing me to people that were not willing to do the work. And it became very difficult for me, because my whole purpose is to help. It's not about making the money. So if what I'm putting my energy into isn't even helping, then what is the point, even when I'm giving it for free? And so yeah, it was just like, you're like, just raise up to the level, have people come up to the level that you are, because when you see value in yourself, people will see the value in you. And it's changed everything for me. So thank
Right.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and at the beginning of this call, we were talking about our own willingness to be, have, or do something. And it's like when you engage with somebody and they just don't have the willingness to put their energy in. I mean, it's not wrong. It's not like they're bad. It's like, well, okay, let's be honest, and be honest with yourself. They're just not willing to put the energy in, which is fine. They'll come to a point when they are willing to put the energy in, and then you'll be ready to take them, right? We're always open, we're not judging. It's just that, well, okay, you'll be ready when you're ready. Let's say John
I
is,
didn't know. Yeah, there you go. I didn't know if you saw John's comment. Go ahead.
yeah, it's about equity. It becomes clear real quick when things are inequitable. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's the thing, like, are you really willing to look at it from that perspective, and to not go into the judgment of something is wrong or right, or we don't like it, right? It's sort of, again, if we go back to somebody you're engaging with, or somebody who could be your client, some people are just looking for clients and want to attract clients, and like you said, Jessica, to be able to help them. Well, first of all, is it helping? And on the other hand, is helping really the thing that we're here to do? I don't know if I mentioned this earlier to you, Jessica, maybe I didn't, but it will be for this call and this group. It's like, if we look at the bigger picture of what we're doing here on this planet. Like this thing we call life on Earth, right? This game that we call life on Earth. Like basically we're coming here to expand consciousness of the planet, to raise the frequency of the planet. That's what we're doing. A way to raise the frequency of the planet is through the human bodies. What we're doing right here is we're not raising our frequency because we're already infinite beings, but the body is raising in frequency, and that's why the trauma and the emotions are also coming through the body. That's where the body is expanding. So what if we're not helping the people, but we are just serving the planet in the evolution of consciousness? It's just that the evolution of consciousness goes through the bodies of the people. Everything that is and everything that brings up, right, wrong, good, bad, POC, nitrous, boys, poets, and beyonds. So what if you're not helping the people? You are just contributing to the evolution of consciousness. And unfortunately, it goes, or fortunately, it goes through the bodies of the people. But that's not your ultimate goal. Your ultimate goal is not to help them. Your ultimate goal is to contribute to the evolution of consciousness. And yes, that means going through the bodies and allowing traumas to be released from the body, allowing energies to flow through the body, allow to raise in frequency with the bodies. Yes, all that, right? And everything that shows up as lower frequency shows up as anger, upset, doubt, shame, other traumatic experience, whatever that is, and for them to get rid of that and then to raise in frequency, blah, 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 blah. Yes. But basically, we're
Light bulb moment. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's huge. That is so huge. Like, I'm so glad this is recorded. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Thank you. Yeah. I'm like, basically, we should, make it easy on ourselves. Like, what? And even like, if people are still refusing, you're like, okay, right? It'll happen at some point. It'll happen at some point. If we look at that raising the frequency, it's just going to have this magnetic attraction. So it'll come. It's just that don't keep like pulling on them when they're not ready yet. And like, what if it's not about the people? Like, what do people have to do with it? What does money have to do with it? Like, nothing. Anything else coming up for you guys? I think I've spoken a lot. How was this for you? Can I get real quick testimony from, we're with a small group, so I might be able to get a quick note from each and every one of you. Who wants to start? Lisa's going.
Yeah. I just wanted to say, I think after this, like, it kind of encouraged me to, like, me and Jessica just got our websites back, and I haven't touched mine yet. I haven't used it because I haven't felt like I'm ready, but I thought, you know what, it's a good time to just start, and I'll pick some close friends and just start working on some projects with them, because I'm going to be a life coach of sorts, like a motivational life coach, because that's what I am, a positive encourager. And that's what I'm gifted in, is getting people to reach their goals. And I'm a project manager by my day job. And so I was like, I just feel inspired to just have a few close friends, have them give me a goal that they want to reach for, and just start working with them so I can get my feet wet in it, just step up in it. Because I know that it's going to do well when I finally just step into what I know that I'm doing in my life.
Yeah, well, I'm so happy that you feel inspired. And what's the thing? What do you feel like? What was the switch?
Just in thinking about the energy of money, like in how I'm using it, and it's like what I'm putting out. Like, I gift to people all the time that into things now that I know that are going to help catapult them in their lives, in what they're supposed to do in their life. And why not make that an official thing? Like, what do we need to do? And then just start working with them, rather than I just send them to other people all the time and hook them up with things that I know that are going to help them, but that can all be part of this coaching experience. So instead, I'll be including my energy like in different ways. I don't know. I just saw like the formation of it kind of coming.
Because you have the intuition as well to see what is needed. So
Yeah,
you can
yeah.
implement that intuition that you have with the gifting that you have and produce something from it that will ripple the way
Right.
that you're looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And
so
I'm
powerful.
I'm
Lisa.
sorry, I'm asking you to put it into words, because I know you see the energy, but I was like, just to share it, we're gonna have to like sort of. So I'm sorry for that.
Yeah, I just felt like in thinking about the energy of money and the way that it circulates, like I have no problem putting the energy of money and investing that into other people. But if I start allowing people to invest into my doing of that, it's just causing it to circulate in a way. I'm being an active participant in the circulation rather than just let it flow through me and I have nothing, like, I don't know, just
Yeah.
making me think of it differently.
Wow, wonderful. Thank you. Who's next? Your little testimonial of this. What's money got to do with it? I'm gonna pick names if you're not gonna.
Yeah, I feel like I already kind of contributed, so that's why I'm not saying anything else. Okay, I just.
Edith, you want to give us what did you like or not like?
I like that you put things in other words. I did a lot of money classes, money trainings, money read money books. And I always love that when I hear something else talk about it, that it's just another word. And I loved your question. So I'll make a lot of notes.
And you'll get the recording, so.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How does it get any better than that? And yeah, just some insights of insights that I sometimes stick to the story, and then I thought, oh my God, what's right about this? And yeah, what if I allow chaos into my life? Because I'm a control freak, so chaos is a little bit
Yes.
exciting.
Yeah. I don't
So-
recognize that at all. Nope.
So what if I choose for chaos?
Yeah. Right. Beautiful. Yeah. Raymond, do you want to go? Thank you, Edith.
I think I go with the recordings. There's some new stuff coming up
Mm-hmm.
in this call, and that's it.
What was the thing that really?
No, what
Okay.
Edith already said is like new words, just different questions, just slightly different, and it makes the energy so much different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's coming up.
Oh, awesome. I was just gonna ask John, like, would you have time to sort of unmute, but he just, I think, climb up a ladder or something, so I guess not. Or maybe, yeah.
Hey, yeah, I got a few minutes.
Oh, yeah. So do you want to give some feedback on what you think?
Yeah, I love what you're saying, what you're bringing, and especially how in the beginning part you were kind of like enunciating on getting over being controlled by money, as in always reacting out of fear. So you're never actually able to create from your genuine, spirit. You're just kind of locked out from your potential when you're always reactive instead of proactive, or searching the field, or I don't know, your terminology for it, but just everything uncreated that you're free to create as your desire comes.
Yeah.
And being honest is a fundamental thing. Like you said, are you even willing to accept it? Really search your heart, because coming up from the Judeo-Christian background, we tend to think that we are fundamentally flawed, like by creation somehow.
Mm.
So being honest with ourselves is almost like a no-no, and it's going to put you in a bad spot for, you know, your eternity or afterlife or whatever you want to call it. And it keeps people just constantly dishonest and not dealing with themselves.
Right, right.
And if you can really get inside of that, get past that fear, you know, on the money level, on all these different levels, you can actually see what you really think and what you desire, not everyone else's program, but what were you put here for, or what did you choose to be here for?
Yes.
I feel like that's your words. So yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, and thank you for this, because there's also a part in that where I always say, like, we are infinite beings and we actually can only create from truth, right? We cannot create from lies. And if we have this big thing, this big lie that we really believe, like, how can we create? We can't. It's like, it's not, I mean, you could create to a certain extent, but I kind of believe that, well, also the devil just gives you
Right.
options to a certain extent to create something in life. Like, it's not that it's nothing.
Yeah.
It's like, if you would want to create whatever is beyond what you can imagine, well, you got to be willing to create from the truth. And
Right.
the truth is not in a lie. I mean, that sounds simple, but it's like, it's the way that a lot of people function, from lies.
And you might just find out, if you're honest with yourself and you say no, why things have been so hard, like you're running into a wall because you're fighting yourself internally. And
Yes.
that's not a good flow through. You know, nothing can flow through a blockage like that.
Yeah, yeah.
So I love those couple points for sure.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And thank you for joining. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah. So a little something that I want to share here as well. Like last week we had the connection and creation. This is now the What's Money Got to Do with It. And end of next week on Friday, I'm going to do a road to happiness, health, and wealth. It's going to be a call like this. And I actually want to keep those calls coming back through the year. Then there's something else that I'm creating, and I don't know if you might know some people that would be interested in it, but I'm actually creating a course that goes deeper into all of these elements, which is actually going to be called like Make Your Life and Business Easy. And I'm going to create a beta version. So it's something that I haven't created before, but I'm going to put all of the things that I have created, put them together. And it's going to be a signature course, but I'm going to offer it in like a beta version. So it's going to be a lot cheaper than the final course that it's going to be. Well, it's going to be for a specific group that I'm going to ask for a lot of more feedback and to sort of deep dive before like creating the final signature course. So if you guys know,
Sign me up. Sign me up.
I'll let you, I'm creating all the details now and putting together like the offer and all those things. So I'm working on that right now, and I will share it as soon as it's ready, but just to let you know that is coming. Yeah, so yeah, Jessica.
I do have one really quick thing, and then I promise I will try to be quick and direct. I had a bioenergy feedback. You know what that is with like the tuning forks, bioenergy. Okay, she had done it on money. And so during this biofeedback, as she goes around and she shares kind of that's her style, I had a conversation with money. I cried that I had mistreated money. Like money was alive to me in this place, and I was able to reconcile. And it was like money told me, I'm here to serve you. And I'd never looked at it that way. And it was the most life transforming biofeedback session I've ever had. I've only had a few, but I mean, it was just with money, it was so powerful. And so I was curious, when you started getting into money is just energy and all that, like you hit a certain point, and I had it out in front of me, but then I started taking notes again. And it was like money, because money is kind to you. Money doesn't have a point of view of where it shows up. And I thought that was interesting. It was an addition to what I've encountered with money that really has like added to my repertoire of understanding money
Right,
and the frequency and energy of money. So I just wanted to say that definitely keep that piece in whatever you're doing, because it was money doesn't have a point of view was an extension. It was an expansion for me about money that I hadn't looked at before.
yeah,
That conscious people have money, that unconscious people have money, that, you know, there are people that are mean that have money. There's people that are well-intended that have money. And it's like, wow, you know,
yeah.
looking at
Criminals have
money from
money,
that.
yeah. Yeah, no,
It's just, it was
absolutely.
an expansion. So I just, I
Oh,
wanted to
good.
thank you for it, but I also wanted to kind of tie that in because I felt like it
No,
was going to
thank
bring
you.
up questions, but then it was like, well, it's, you said money is all frequencies. And I was like, wow, I've never thought of it that way. So very powerful. So thank you.
Thank you. Well, thank you
Yeah.
for this edition, because like I said, it's an hour, so we sort of gotta see where we end up. But you are mentioning a very important point. Like, and I know all of you here, you are able to communicate with energies. I mean, all of you, you're like, whether we talk to entities, whether we talk to God, whether we talk to angels, whatever that is, we can also communicate with money, and money can communicate with us. Because yes, if we open up to it, we can just ask money to talk to us. Money can really communicate. I mean, I had it one time when I did sort of a free course, because I was just offering it to a small group, and they were friends, and I was like, let's play with this, and I'll do a free course. And money came along and it said, hey, I want to play. And I'm like, well, what does that mean? I want to play. Like, I already promised that I wasn't going to ask for contribution. And he was like, well, no, but I want to play. You guys are going to pay each other. Like, all right. So is it going to be like a low fee just for, you know, practical reasons, or just to have some money, like, you know, like $5? It's just for the idea of it. And he was like, no, you know, it needs to be more. And then we're like, oh, so what should, and then the idea was, okay, so let's ask $100 for each mini course that we're preparing. And it was really like a mini course where we're just going to do like an hour course, and one was going to do a nail course, and the other was going to do like talking to animals course, and you know, the other one was going to do a business course. There were all these funny things going on. And Money said, well, I want to play, and I want each course to cost $100. But like, imagine you have like 8 people involved. You pay 100 to that one, 100 to that one, and 100 to that one, and 100 to, so you pay 100, you know, 7 times. But you also get it back 7 times, right? Because you get paid as well. So in fact, it wasn't even such a big deal. But then I presented it, and everybody was like, oh, no, money. Oh my God, do I have to pay? Do I have to pay 700? Where do I get the 700? Wait a minute, no. And everybody was freaking out. And it wasn't even like they actually had to lose the money, or because we were just gonna let the money flow through everything that we were playing with, and you were gonna get the money back. And I said, you don't even have to pay it all at once. We can make sure that we, you know, just a way of playing with it, because money just wants to play. And oh my God, so many things showed up for people, like resistance in systems, resistance in PayPal. 3 people dropped off. They just quit the course. They were like, we're not dealing with it. And that was hilarious. So, and that was just because I started communicating with money, and money was like, I want to play, and I also want to decide how much this is going to be. And yeah, and the people that stayed really learned a lot. They went through a next barrier. They were like, wow, I didn't know this was blocking me so much. While it was still for free, right? I mean, I was making money off of it, and money just wanted to play in a fun way. So thank you, Jessica. I mean, that really brought this story, and it was a significant item in that little course. Yeah. So I would sort of invite you all to start the communication with money. What would it take for you to just invite money in and say, hey, what do you have to say? Do you want to speak to me? Can I talk to you? Can we sit down and talk? What do you want to say to me? What can you share? What can you teach me? What can I teach you? If you could say anything to me right now, money, what would that be? Talk to me. And I am so sorry. I never listened before, but I am listening now. So talk to me. Play with that. Have fun with it. And wow, this was amazing, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for being here. This was really cool. I will make sure you will get the recording. I will also post this in the Conscious Leadership group. So at least the Conscious Leadership group will have a chance to watch this. Yeah.
When you say the Conscious Leadership group, are you talking about the free group on Facebook or are you talking about the patron group?
The Facebook group.
The Facebook group, okay. Because I did have many people I invited to this and they texted me and said, hey, is it going to be recorded? Because I can't physically be there. And I was like, I'll ask, because I didn't know if it was going to be available to the public or just to the patrons. So, all
Yeah,
right, thanks.
no, I'll put it in the Facebook Conscious Leadership group. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you all for your contribution. This was really cool. And I hope to see you next time.
Thank you, Ruby.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.